fair. Oh, there we are.
Hi, everybody. This is Support and Resistance. My name is Bobby.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Paul.
And yeah,
what's up?
What's up? We've had a pretty chaotic week, the three of us. So we're kind of bringing the show together last minute. It's the twilight hours right now, so just kind of shows our dedication, right, to this channel. But for those of you that are just watching this for the first time, we're bringing almost 5 decades of real world working experience to this channel, and our goal here is to bring objective analysis, both fundamentally and technically. And yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today, is the top 3 news items. We're going to run through a bunch of charts, and let's get it cracking, right? So hey. I'm going to hand it over to Paul to announce an important thing.
Well, before we get all there, I think we got some we got to level something up. Brian thinks he won last week. It's what I heard.
I know I won this week. I won this week. No, go ahead.
How did you win? Explain it.
I said last time that the market was going to trade within a range of 3,800 to 4,100 as a support and resistance. Is going to stay inside that range. Dropped down, got close to 3,800, but people bought the dip as I wanted them to do. And then it went back up to over 4,000 again. So it kind of stayed in that range. That's a win in my book.
Okay. I do agree. You did win. I don't even remember what I said. So therefore, yes, you won.
All right. But neither of you went with me. I thought somebody went with me on that.
No,
you guys were thinking it was going to bust out above 4,200 or something.
Yep.
4,100.
Wrong. I win. All right, so we've had 3 weeks of it, and we've all won a week, so we're all tied up now.
We're good. All right, we'll start working on.
I do think on our predictions we need to narrow the range down, because I think 300 is a bit of too much of a cushion there. So
it is right now, but when we start getting a trend, when it's going to move 3,000 at a time, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But yeah, right now I understand. I can't really categorize it as a win. It did stay within the triangle that I wanted to see. So not quite a win, but I felt like I needed to take it.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
Yes, congrats, man.
Congrats. All right, I'm done. I'll see you guys later. No,
I just go to show you that we have some expertise on this show. These guys are great at what they do. Specifically, Brian, I mean, he's trained in this stuff. That's why he won, because he's trained. If I was a trained CFTE, I'd be able to do the same thing, but I'm not. So
sure you can.
All right, let's talk about a little bit of top news stuff that was going on. So again, as Bobby mentioned, we've had a rough week. I just got finished with an event that I did. So, but I will say there was some really cool stuff that happened this week. But the first thing that happened that caused so much drama on Twitter and caused so much drama in the media was about Bitwise report, talking about fake volume. It's funny because one day I was looking at the news articles, and from 2 different outlets, one reported in their headlines, one made it seem like it was no big deal, the other one made it sound like the end of the world was coming. So the reality is this. Yes, Bitwise did pull a report, and they did uncover or discover that there's a lot of fake volume on a lot of the exchanges. But what the headlines failed to really say was that fake volume is coming from the unregistered exchanges. And again, I don't remember which publication it was. They reported accurately saying, hey, listen, here are the exchanges that are regulated. There's no fake volume on these. Here are the other exchanges. There is fake volume. And the whole issue behind fake volume is these exchanges want to get listed on CoinMarketCap. But in order to do so, you need to have a certain level of volume to do so. So they just did wash trading, which means that they would trade amongst themselves, buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, creating volume just to show that they have volume. And then all of a sudden they get listed on CoinMarketCap. Problem with that is that what if they want to exit scam, right? They get on CoinMarketCap, people think they're trusted, they use them, and then all of a sudden out the door they go. So that's my scoop on that. I don't know what you guys think about fake volume, but is it a big issue for you guys that those exchanges are reporting fake volume?
If the end goal is to rip people off, then absolutely. But I mean, yeah, I mean it's an unethical thing to do, but it's really not moving price. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like yeah, they want to get on an exchange, but if they're doing it to get noticed, it's probably not the best route to go. But if they're doing it to do an exit scam, then absolutely, that's absolutely horrible. But again, it's wrong, it's unethical, but it's kind of genius. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's just. But when you first think of it, like if they're just doing volume in and out and it's not changing price, it's really not that big of a deal on the surface. But it's all the other stuff that comes along with it. You know, the stuff that's up their sleeve. You know, let's get everybody on here, and then we'll take off with their money. Those kind of things.
So,
I definitely not for that, but
so it's
definitely an unethical thing on my side. What do you think, Bobby?
So it's not a situation where internally they were trading against customers essentially and taking advantage of price action that way, because there is a lot of speculation out there, right? Like amongst the Coinbases, even though that's a regulated exchange, and some of the other bigger shops where they have internal trading in-house, right? And they're also trading in the markets, and if they're able to kind of see what the order book looks like in-house, they can have the insider information to be able to trade against people like myself and take advantage of that. So we're not talking about that. We're just talking about whitewashing trades.
We are wash trading, but
just in and out, in and out, in and out. No price change, just volume increase.
Yep. And I think in some of those situations, Bobby, you might be right. It might have been some of those exchanges trading against their customers. That I don't remember if that was the case or not. I mean, it was CZ who actually brought it up, and he says in a tweet that he had pushed out, and this was on March 18th, which was actually 10 days ago. But he says, why do exchanges fake volumes? CoinMarketCap is highest traffic website in our space and biggest referrer for all exchanges. Ranked high on CMC, has benefits for getting new users, but at the expense of destroying credibility with pro users. Many forget the latter part. And so that was from CZ.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
Right.
I think he knows what he's doing.
Oh, I think you do too. Good guy. Smart guy. Yeah. All right. So the other news article was about, and this one sort of snuck under the radar. I didn't see much on Twitter about this, and it was interesting that I didn't. But Western Union is actually leveraging the Stellar blockchain instead of Ripple. So I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think that's a pretty big deal, right? It's like
it's huge.
It's huge.
No, I actually think that I didn't hear that news until tonight. Just thinking off the top of my head, that's pretty big news. I mean, for one, Western Union is going to have to do something, or they're going to go out of business in the future. So they're going to have to figure out some way to get into this crypto world somehow. And I'm glad they picked Stellar over Ripple, because I personally like Stellar better than Ripple. But that's just me. That's just a personal thing. But no, I think it's awesome news. I don't see anything wrong with it.
And to be fair, right? So it wasn't directly with like Stellar, but it says that against.
Oh, come on! I thought you said it was Stellar.
No. Listen to me.
Okay.
I just got 100,000 lumens. Thanks.
Yeah. And this is from BTC Manager. They said against that backdrop, international payments behemoth Western Union will now use Stellar Lumens based payments network Thunes to push for global finance inclusion. So Thunes is the platform that they're using, but Thunes uses Stellar Lumens. There you go.
Gotcha.
So that's what I want to clear up. Is that
that makes sense? Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to be more excited when Stellar is able to take actual some of that pipeline that Swift has, right, with all the banks. I think that's going to be the next phase. But is it Jesse Lund? Is that the head blockchain? Jesse Lund is the IBM's executive who is over the blockchain for IBM. Okay, because I remember I watched I think it was a YouTube video. Yep. when they announced that partnership with Stellar, and their roadmap is very positive and pretty aggressive as far as where they want to take, you know, the Stellar platform, you know, linking multiple continents, having well over, you know, 50 to 70 banking relationships, like right off the bat, and, you know, really connecting the underserved in terms of, you know, financial services access to, you know, the domestic world. It's pretty exciting what they have in store, I think, over the next year.
Yeah, it is. And again, if people are not paying attention to the announcement that came out from IBM and Stellar about WorldWire, they really should. And again, if I know people probably are not going to be happy about this, but Coinbase did do a deal with Stellar Lumens. They did a massive airdrop to the tune of, I think, $100 million is what it ultimately comes out to be. But the whole thing is, if you go to Coinbase and you watch the lessons about Stellar, they will give you, I think it's like 2 Stellar Lumens for each video you watch, but then it's 5 videos, and then they'll give you $40 more worth of Stellar Lumens if you will refer 4 people. So, but here's the kicker on that. If you watch those lessons, it's quite impressive what Stellar's doing when it comes to remittances and moving anything. You can move dollars across the Stellar network to another country, and that as well. So it's not only moving lumens, but it's moving dollars or any fiat, or I think they have some other things they're moving. It's getting really interesting.
Yeah.
So definitely a Swift replacement. Is that what you're saying?
I think Swiss in trouble, which I'm happy about. So.
Well, no, I think that what they're going to have to do is exactly what Western Union's doing. They're going to have to, you know, open their channels and be more
and adapt.
And adapt. So
yeah. So beside that, the other news that came out, and it's actually, again, I saw a little bit on Twitter, but not much, but Tron becomes available for trading on eToro. 10 million users, they've put Tron on eToro. You can say what you want about Justin Sun. I know the guy is just whacked, right? I'm sorry, he's just whacked, but some kind of way this dude is still hanging in there.
I'm waiting for my phone call to say, hey, Brian, I'll give you $1 million if you just start using Tron. I'm waiting for that call, and I'll definitely use it if he calls.
He seems to pay people to use his platform. That seems to be the game. But
yeah, he steals Ethereum's white paper, and then, you know, he's bribing people to use the platform. So.
And what I've seen on Twitter is either a love-hate relationship, right? You either love Justin Sun or you absolutely hate him. There's no in between. So,
well, hate's a little strong. I'll say dislike.
I agree. I agree. Dislike.
But I don't know him that well. I'm talking about just the platform itself,
right?
Just like all this stuff going on with it. It's a whirlwind. Every time I turn around, there's something going on with Tron.
It is. It's like the Tron show, though. I mean, let me see what day it was. I think it was on yesterday for altcoins. No, it wasn't. Was it today? But yeah, I think it was today. Yes. Check this out. So yeah, Tron's BitTorrent launches a Snapchat competitor and integrating its native crypto BTT. So all of a sudden, Tron is now going to be competing with Snapchat, and they're going to use the BTT token. It's unbelievable, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Tron Scan, it's integrating with the new Ledger feature and introducing more innovation. So now you got Tron Scan integrating with Ledger. I mean, they're doing deals with, you know, it seems like the guy's going to go down the tooth, but every time he turns around, he pulls a new trick out of his pocket. I don't get it. But that's Tron for you.
Yep. Wait for the Tron Binance commit, like, coming together or something.
You say that what is going to happen? I promise you. You wake up tomorrow, it's going to be like, Tron's listed on Binance. Well, Tron is already on Binance.
No, I meant collaborating on some kind of something.
That'll be funny. Yeah.
It'll be like a million Tron giveaway on Binance or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. There you go.
Hey,
all right.
I'm just giving ideas out there. You know?
Hey, Justin, you listening?
We'll tag them. We'll tag them.
Brian's helping you.
That's my shout out right there. Thanks.
Oh, could you tell it's been a long week?
It's been a long week. Oh, yeah.
And it's only Thursday.
I know. We got one more day to go. we'll get to the predictions later. I can't wait to see what you guys think it's going to do. But so for the other news that's been going on as far as fundamentals, things that might move the market, there are a few things I want to cover real quick. It covers the market, investments, acceptance and adoption, and regulation legislation. As I've always said, regulation, legislation, and custody will ultimately drive this market. But that being said, and I would like to get you guys' view on this because it's very interesting. So crypto firm BlockFi trims their interest rates of their Bitcoin savings account. I don't know if you guys paid attention to this or not. If you're aware, BlockFi came out and said, we're going to pay anyone 6% on their Bitcoin or Ethereum, and we'll pay 6.2 annually with that compound interest. Now they're coming out saying, oh, but wait a minute, if you hold a certain amount of Bitcoin on our platform, we're not going to give you the full 6%. We'll give you, the full 6.2%, we'll give you only 2% anything over a certain amount. So you earn 6%. Let me get what the amount is because that's important. I thought I had it. Oh, here, yes. So if you have 25 Bitcoin on BlockFi, they'll give you 6.2%. If you go over 25, they're only going to pay you 2%. So for the whales, they're not going to incentivize those guys. They're only helping out the average person. What do you guys think about this whole putting your Bitcoins on BlockFi, earning interest, the whole 9 yards?
I can see multiple wallets being made with 25 Bitcoin in each wallet and throwing it out there and getting 6.2%. Multiple wallets. That's what I see. Because if you're a whale, just create 1,000 wallets and put 25 in each and throw them in there.
But because you have an identification. They know when you log in, unless you can create those many accounts on BlockFi and use false names or something. Yeah.
What, like get on an exchange and trade with yourself?
No, you can't.
You could do that, right?
Yeah, but BlockFi, believe it or not, they're worse than Coinbase in some of these deals. They make you hold up the ID, take the picture. They make you go through the whole.
Oh, okay. I haven't been on there, so
you can't cheat their system.
So they're the whole KYC to the max.
Yeah, to the max. Yeah.
All right.
So they can't.
All right, then they can't do that. Then it was a thought.
Yeah.
I think personally, there's a bit of risk, right? I don't know if 6% interest is worth the amount of volatility and risk right now in the markets. For me to have 25 Bitcoin sitting out there, not earning 6%. For me, I think people are going to go through the opportunity cost themselves, right? Is 6% enough for me to hold 25 Bitcoins? So essentially almost $100,000 right now at current prices.
Mm-hmm. And is it set up like a CD? Like you have to keep it in there for the year?
No, that's the great thing. Okay. You can move your Bitcoin in and out anytime you want.
Okay. Because I could see that if it was locked in there, I don't think anybody would want to do it because you can make 6% in a day, depending if versus having it locked up.
Yep.
Is that what you're kind of talking about, Bobby? Because I didn't know if you could lock it up or not.
Sorry, I thought you had to lock it up for a year to.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No.
Okay.
Now if you want the compound interest, you have to leave it there for a year in order to get that compounded interest. But if you just put your Bitcoin on there and take it off, you're going to get 6% that month. I think they do it monthly. So if you do the first month, you're going to get your 6%.
But it's not an exchange, correct? So
no.
Okay.
It's a lender. As a matter of fact, you can also put money on BlockFi, and they will loan you money so that you don't have to cash out your Bitcoin to have a taxable event. And then you can pay them back and then get your Bitcoin back. So they also offer that service as well.
Okay.
And Celsius Network is the same way. Celsius Network right now, they're paying 7.5% on Dash. It's crazy.
With the same kind of setup?
Yep.
I think it'll be interesting when like the big exchanges like the Coinbases and et cetera, if they're going to start adopting, if BlockFi's model starts to compete against some of these other exchanges, if they're going to start adopting some sort of interest bearing reward on things.
And Nexo is doing the same thing. Nexo is starting to let investors earn 6.5% interest on 5 of the stable coins, and Celsius pays you 7.10% on all their stable coins that they let you put on there. So this is starting to, I tell people, I told the folks at the event tonight, I said, one day folks are going to wake up and people are going to say, checking account, savings accounts, what's that? We don't even know what that is, because I think this is going to replace it, because people are just going to stake coins all over the place, and that's what they do to save money, and that becomes your savings account.
Yeah, because everything will be worked off your wallet.
Yeah.
You know, and if you got 25 Bitcoin in there, stake 20 of it and use the other 5 to live off of.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
I can see that kind of happening.
But is any of this insured, like customer deposits?
No.
Right.
No FDIC.
So no one mainstream is.
Don't get me started on that. No, I mean, I was just at the bank the other day, and I snapped a picture when I was in there because I had the little FDIC little logo there, and I put it out on Twitter, and I said, "Well, that's a false sense of security." just messing.
Yeah.
The silence. Ooh.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead. I'm just rambling.
So beside that, I always tell people to watch the money, right? Because if you watch the money, you know what's happening. So Pantera Capital, if you're familiar with Pantera, Dan Moorhead's company, they are nearing their $175 million target for their 3rd venture fund. So this is number 3. And Michael Arrington, the guy that owned TechCrunch, and this is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, if you're around, but he started a fund, but you can only use XRP. Brian, I know you love that. You can only fund it with XRP. So you had to fund his venture fund, but you couldn't give him dollars. He wouldn't take your dollars. He would only take XRP. And now he's already exceeding the $100 million on that fund. Can you believe that?
Wow. That's
crazy.
Pretty impressive.
Very impressive. $100 million in XRP.
Wow.
Yeah. So everybody can say what they want about XRP. There's still somebody that likes it.
Oh no, they're definitely a force, but it's just 100 million, man. I see that guy's name in a headline if that thing takes off.
Oh boy, let me tell you.
Look at me, I'm the next XRP billionaire.
Okay, so
that's pretty impressive, though.
It is
to be able to start a fund like that and get 100 million, wow.
It's unbelievable. And with that, he's now merged with a crypto-focused private fund and research house, BitSize Capital. So a lot of stuff's happening with Michael and what he's doing with this whole fund deal with XRP. So it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. I was skeptical when he first launched it. I was like, there's no way you're going to raise 100 million in XRP, but guess he fooled me. Yeah. So as we look at acceptance and adoption, Louis Vuitton, their owner, LVMH, has now launched a blockchain to track luxury goods. And we've got a 130-year-old liquor company, William Grant & Sons, that's also tracking whiskey on a blockchain. And we got London's Metal Exchange that's backing a plan to track physical metal with the blockchain. So we can track anything on the blockchain these days, right?
Yeah, I mean, anything with shipping and tracking, I think it's an absolute gold mine for those types of industries. And if they're all jumping on the bandwagon like that, I mean, to be able to know, just taking the fraud out of it for one, because there's so much fraud in shipping that if you could just take that out, the money savings that they would have just off of reducing fraud is just one of many, reasons to get it. So I like those actual stories because I like the use cases that are actually happening out there. It might not have anything to do with Bitcoin being a gold standard or currency or anything like that, but it's just the technology that's advancing, and that's what gets me hyped. Yeah,
I mean, you got luxury goods, whiskey, and physical metals.
I got whiskey right here. Still waiting for that 4,200 to break through so we take a shot.
Bitcoin's never gonna let you take that shot, buddy.
Apparently not.
And then the last part is regulation. Of course, CME Group CEO says that their biggest obstacle is regulation. No surprise there. And of course, in Wyoming, everybody knows that Caitlin Long has done a great job in Wyoming. Wyoming is leading the charge when it comes to regulation. But there was some seismic news about state virtual currency laws. Apparently, this ULC, and I'm not going to pretend like I even understand this at all, but there's some issue with this ULC. And again, like I said, I'm not going to pretend like I know what it is. It has to do with a particular regulation, and Caitlin has been screaming about this with a lot of states saying they need to push back against ULC and not have their rules or this plan. Anyway, the big news was with ULC came out and said, guess what? We're going to back off. We're not going to push for that. And it's the Uniform Law Commission is what it is. And they're saying that they're going to push back. They're not going to push this legislation they wanted out. They're going to go back to the drawing board and figure things out. So it was a win on that side for them for now, but we'll see. And last but not least, of course, Crypto Mom, she's all over the SEC again, telling them that they are failing to keep up with cryptocurrency innovation. So there you go. That's the wrap on the news. You know, it's a just typical week in crypto.
Yeah. There's nothing going on.
Nothing at all. That's what I tell people tonight. I'm like, do you guys know how much, like, if half of this stuff happened back in the day, God, the numbers would be going ridiculous. I don't know what's wrong with the market. Maybe you guys can tell me what's wrong with this market because it won't move.
In due time. It's just a timing thing. I mean, look like when Amazon tanked to the 80 to 90% when it was in the market, it took years after that for it to really start going. So it takes time to get people back trusting it and that kind of thing. A lot of people got raked over the coals this last year. It's going to take a lot for people to,
that's true.
For everyone that's in it right now, we're in it. So that's why we're all sitting around going, why the hell is it not going up? What's going on? But there's a lot of other people that just got whipped.
Yeah.
And it'll take a little time, and time heals all. Then the memory starts to fade, and then they're like, I'm gonna get back in. In due time. I'm just chilling it out. It'll be fine.
Cool. All right, maybe we should give some shout outs and then let you guys get to your charts.
Yeah, I'll go ahead first. I got it up here. Let me pull up my screen here. I've talked about Niffler before. I've shouted them out, but what they're doing, which I really like, because they're doing a benefit for one of the guys that they know that they've traded on their site. I've actually been in a couple of their contests. It's free to get in. You're just challenging other people. But Crypto Twice is one of the guys that trades out on there, and he's a pretty good trader. I've talked to him a couple times, on the site itself. I don't know him real well, but what Niffler is doing, and of course this is a free site, so anybody go out there and sign up and jump into this contest. It'll be fun. You can just trade crypto with a free $100,000 and just kind of test your charts and test whatever theories you got, and just kind of run out there and see how you do against everybody. It's really fun. I've done 3 of them already, and it's good time. But what they're doing is a benefit. And I don't know if you can see it on the screen here, so I could probably read it real quick. It says this free simulated crypto trading competition and donation drive is for Crypto Twice and his family. Twice is not only a longtime crypto enthusiast and trader, but he's also an ill U.S. veteran with no health insurance. So they're running this benefit to help this guy pay for some of his medical bills. And right now, as you can see, they've raised a little bit there because they just started it. And I think the actual contest starts in about 3 or 4 weeks. So they're just going to raise money to help him out with some medical bills and all of that. But in the meantime, you can also get in there and sign up and trade. I'm going to be in there. I've already signed up to trade on the contest, so it's fun. I mean, just kind of see where you rank against others and how you do. So anybody who wants to trade for free and wants to send a little BTC his way to help him out, I think it'd be a good thing. So I really wanted to shout this out because I don't mind helping out benefits like this. So that's my shout out for the night.
That's a good one,
man. Way to go. Well, for my shout out, I'm going to shout out a platform. It's called Uptrend. If you haven't heard of it, you should check it out. UPTRENND, Uptrend, Uptrend Online on Twitter. It's a really cool platform. I've been pushing some content over to those guys this past couple weeks, and I've gotten a lot of great traction. It's a highly engaged community, sharing news information, articles, tips, tricks, the whole 9 yards when it comes to what's going on in crypto. They have leaderboards out there. Yeah, it's a really, really cool site. It's sort of like a Reddit in a way, but I think it's a lot better than a Reddit. Luke is one of the guys over there that I am connected to, and he's the one who actually encouraged me to use the platform, and I've been using it ever since. And you can actually get paid to post and comment and share. So every upvote earns you tokens. Yeah, it's one of these platforms, and there's many of these platforms out there now that's helping you to actually earn crypto just by posting content and engaging the community. So it's something for you guys to check out, uptrend.com.
That's a good one. Thanks.
Welcome.
I'm kind of going a little left field because I came a little unprepared with my shout outs.
Okay.
But I'm going to do a shout out for Laura Shin. I don't know if you guys listen to her, if you guys listen to the podcast that she has, Unchained. I'm sure you do. But you know, she has a really great. She's starting to go live now with her podcast, which is really interesting. And she had Vitalik Buterin on recently for, you know, an Ethereum talk in front of a live audience. And I think a lot of the things that she's doing from a journalist and reporting standpoint is really fantastic. And I'm really surprised by the amount of views that she's at least when I watched the video, she had less than 1,000 views on the interview with Vitalik. So I encourage everybody to go out there and watch that live show. I think it was really interesting to get, you know, Vitalik's, he had some hard hitting questions from Lauren in the audience as far as where the Ethereum, you know, ecosystem currently is, how it's going to differentiate itself from Tron and some of the other competitors in the future, and what sorts of things they have coming up on the roadmap. So I'm going to give a shout out to her just because she's really, I think, bringing a lot of information to the space that's needed. So
awesome. Yeah, I like
Cool,
Laura
cool.
a lot. I listen to her podcast all the time, and I put it in the brief. So
cool.
Nice. No, I'll listen to that. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yep.
See what Vitalik's up to lately.
He's got awesome t-shirts. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, I love his t-shirts and his red pants he wears. It's hilarious.
The red pants.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
You guys can take away on the charts and tell us what we need to know about what's happening in this dumb market that won't move.
Yeah. You want me to start off there, Bobby?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. Let me. Here we go. First chart up. Excuse me. Daily Bitcoin. I know. I kind of looked at this last week, but there's still some main things I'm kind of watching here. First of all, I really like these trend line breaks and just using them as a guide where prices could possibly go on breaks. You know, even back here in the past, we had this, you know, this trend line break here to the downside. And you just take the distance above the trend line and take that rate of change. I know the arrow's a lot longer because it's a log chart. So, it's the same percentage move. But it just looks a lot longer. So, but this move here on this break says the psychology is if you're a buyer along this line and it breaks and you really want to buy it again, you want to wait for the objective of the break, which would have been down here. So if you would have waited it out, you would have been buying down in this level. So that some of those things I kind of like to look at. And of course you want momentum behind it and all those kind of things on indicators. But if you look at this, where we're at today, we had this trend line break to the upside right at this point. So if you take that distance, just like we did this in the past, the objective is right around, you know, just above 5,000. And another thing is once this broke and had a little throwback to the line in this area of support, which is really at this intersection of these two trend lines, and then also the 61.8% level. So all of that intersection together is right, you know, roughly around 36.57, which to me is a really strong floor right now. Not that it can't fall back there and test it again, but it's going to take a lot of momentum to push it back through there. But then again, it's going to take a lot of momentum to get us to go back above 4,200 also. And down here, this is the ADX, and just measuring the momentum, the strength and trend, there's really not a lot going on. As you can tell by the ADX, it just keeps decreasing. But at the same time, we are on a slight upward trend, and I really like this trend line that I'm watching. And this is that whole triangle that I talked about last week, that I still think it's the support of this trend line and that previous high at 42 or roughly around 41.90 there. This whole zone is where I think it's going to continue to trade until that momentum, and not just this momentum indicator, any momentum indicator that you're looking at, we need to start to see some kind of movement. And right now there's not a lot of strength and trend. So that's why I think a movement toward the apex of this pattern would, eventually it'll get to 41.90, or it'll break to the downside, or one of the ways it's going to have to break out one way or the other. But right now, with the momentum as low as it is, just look for a movement toward the apex of that pattern. So that, and a couple other things on here. I got the break of the trend line here started another wave to the downside here. So I take the Fibonacci of this high here, because that's the start of the move, to this low. And the next area of resistance is at the 38.20 here, which is around 44.29. And then above that, I like the zone between the distance of this trend line break, just above 5,000, and then the 61.8% level, which is around 5,200. So that 5,000 to 5,200 range is the area that I'm really looking for to possibly start selling out of some of the longs that I've taken in the past. But right now, I don't want to do anything because the indicators really aren't telling me that it's going back lower. It's really not telling me it's going up either. So I don't really want to do anything. So it's really kind of sideways at the moment. So I had that chart, and then real quick, I'm gonna pop over to let me pop over to I got an Elliott wave chart on here too. Here, oh no, that's the wrong one. That's Litecoin. We'll come back to that one here in a second. Hold on, my computer's slowing up here.
So while that is loading up, I noticed on the last chart that you had, it seemed like that in order to break out of that triangle, it's going to be like well into May before that happens. Is that what?
If it stays on that route, yeah, it would take that to get there.
Gotcha.
Let's see.
And remember, wasn't it Tom Lee that predicted that it might be, was it July or August is when we'll get out of this kind of bear market and above that 200-day moving average?
I think he might have said something like that. I know Benny Lingham said we were going to trade between 3 and 6 for 3 to 6 months. So, okay. And I think he said that in like December. So December, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah. So it would be May-ish time frame before June time frame before we pop out of that. So yeah,
I could see.
And I got the chart up here, guys. Sorry, it took me there a second there. I forgot where I put it. Just the Elliott wave pattern here. We had this ABC to the downside, and then we're kind of working a new wave 5 to the upside. So it's a new set of motive waves. So right now I got this wave 1 here. I got a wave 2 to the downside at this point. And right now I think we're in this wave 3 right here, to where, the black 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is an intermediate wave to a little bit more of the primary move. So this 5 waves is the actual third wave. And right now I have a question mark on 2 here, because I still think if it's going to keep this flat area in here, it could be just a continuation of a corrective move against that first wave that's just kind of flat and boring. And then we can get a breakout to the upside to get a start of that wave 3. But of course, we have to get above 4,200 to confirm that third wave before it makes its way to the 5. Or if it breaks the trend line to the downside, then the waves counts off, and then we got to go back to the drawing board. But right now, everything on this trend line to the upside is holding. So a little bit more sideways on this 2, and then we get the 3. as the four comes down, the four is probably going to be a little bit, close to this trend line if it comes back down, because it can't exceed this wave one to the downside according to the guidelines of Elliott wave. And then a bounce from there should take us up to that 61.8% level, or that zone I was talking about on the other chart between 5,000 and 5,200, to finalize the wave three. And then the longer term wave four is likely to come back down to this longer term trend line down here. I mean, I don't have this exact, but if you get it down to that way, and then you got five that would probably take us back to that previous high around 6,500. And then that would be wave one for the future. And then you'd have a longer term wave two to the downside, and then a kick-ass wave three into the future, hopefully. But right now, just looking at more near term, we're in this realm of sideways, but I still think we can get a little bit of we might already be in three, but usually threes are a little bit more pizzazz to them, because they're typically the longest wave. They're not always the longest, but they're the ones that have a little bit more pizzazz to them. And since it doesn't really have that momentum with it, that's why I think we could be a little bit more flat on this two before we start the three. I think it's going to take that 4,200 to get that going. But in the meantime, we just kind of wait it out. So I just wanted to kind of show the wave pattern I'm looking at along with my daily to kind of see what's in my weird mind. So
no, that looks really good. Yeah.
Cool. So the only other chart I have is Litecoin, unless you wanted to. When
you draw your wave counts, do you take into consideration like the channel width, like, and things like that, or? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you draw out the channel at all and just kind of?
Sometimes. I mean, it just depends on what I'm looking at. Like on here, this bottom part here could be this could be moved up as a channel. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like this channel here? Yeah. Yeah, I do that sometimes. I just didn't draw it on this one.
Okay.
Because that can give you a guideline too of where the next wave could possibly be. Exactly, I just didn't have it on there. And that could be a spot where you can look at, like if you moved it to here, three could be somewhere along this line on the way up. I just have a question mark. This isn't really perfect. I was just really wanted to show a little bit more of the route that I think it could take. So, but yeah, no, sometimes I'll draw channels.
And then one other question: what about volumes and just kind of the volatility? How that could impact BTC prices? Do you have any thoughts on like what you want to see from that perspective in order to kind of keep this theory intact, I guess?
I would want to see a couple things. Of course, if it got to 4,200 and started trading above it, I would want to see definitely more volume. But then again, on top of that, I would also like to see the momentum indicators actually building on that volume. I don't want to see a divergence of a lot of volume, but not any momentum behind it, because then that's just saying it's just going to stall out and not go anywhere. So I would kind of look for both of those.
Right. So those things should be all confirmed on your ADX and.
Yeah, or other. I know other people probably look at some other type of momentum indicators. The ADX is a lagging indicator, but I like it because I look at it from a historical perspective. Mm-hmm. I look at it as an EKG of your heartbeat, and I look at the heartbeat of the market. And if there's something that's off versus what the history shows, then it tells me to start looking at a couple other things to help validate that. Even though it's on a lag, it's not something I would absolutely trade off of. But it's a signal for me to say, Brian, go look at this and test some other momentum indicators that aren't lagging. I just like the ADX because I've just been using it for a long time. So everybody gets their expertise on how to read different indicators. So that's just one of them for me.
That's right.
And then I could do Litecoin real quick. This one's a little bit more short term. I did this one because someone asked for it earlier this morning. There you go. How's that? Let's
what is that?
let's move it to a 2 hour because that's what I drew it on. little bit of bullishness here on Litecoin too on the 2 hour. I got what I'm looking at here. I think I got it all in the picture. Wave 1 up here, a little bit of a wave 2. Got a wave 3, a 4, and a 5, which makes it 1. So this is a wave 1, which is a circle. The circle one is the primary trend. The ones in parentheses are the intermediate trend, or I think it's intermediate. It's underneath primary. And then so the one here, and then the 2 here is your overall primary trend. So we got an up move here, a down move here, which was an ABC here, which is like a kind of a 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 kind of deal. So you got a 3 3 5 here that created a 2. So now we're on this wave 3 with this break of this trend line here, where we moved up, where this I think is a 1 and a 2. And again, it's the same kind of deal. You got to get above this level, just like Bitcoin. But I feel like Litecoin's been sort of a leading indicator per se, to where if Litecoin starts to get above and making a new high, it's been kind of the leader here, really over the last, well, I don't know how long, where it's been first to move, and then Bitcoin's been kind of following. So I'm kind of, that's why someone asked for this, so I kind of put it together for him real quick. But the this one is, I think the high here is 6150 or so. So it needs to get above 6150 with momentum and some volume, some strength, those kind of things, and then get this wave 3 going, and then just get a nice path of the 3 4 or the wave 3 up here. And I did the same thing as before. Wave 3 out of the rules, wave 3 can never be the shortest wave out of the 5. So if wave 1 here, this circle 1 wave here, is this distance, then 3 has to be a minimum of this distance, because it can't be shorter than that. So if we do break above that wave 1 and we get above that 6150 and it starts getting some buying interest, this whole wave could take us up to that objective, which is around $68. Now this is very short term because it's a 2 hour chart, but I just want to get some of this momentum going. And if we could get this third wave to get back up close to $70, then I think it can help push Bitcoin and getting some of that momentum into the market. So that's the reason that I did the Litecoin chart for somebody, because a leading indicator kind of thing. So
yeah, I think there was an actual article out talking about that. As a matter of fact, they were saying that Litecoin, and it was a question, right? Is Litecoin and EOS a leading indicator for Bitcoin? And so
yeah. And really the last few times, if you went back in history and looked at some of the bigger moves that started, Litecoin and EOS were kind of the ones that were moving just a little bit of a lag, but they were just kind of the first ones to start going, and then Bitcoin kind of followed. So
gotcha.
Who knows? I mean, if we can get this nice leg up and get close to $70 on Litecoin, Bitcoin should follow, get us above that 4,200 and start rocking this thing.
Nice.
So
yeah,
there you go.
I think once
give my screen back over to you there, Bobby.
Yeah, sounds good. Can you guys hear my bulldog snoring by chance?
Oh, I thought that was my stomach.
That's funny. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. It's weird because I'm looking at the live stream and I don't see it up yet.
It only takes a while. There's a delay.
That's really odd.
Oh yeah, I still don't see it. I only see Brian. So what it might be is it could be if you've clicked on one of those boxes, you might need to unclick it or click on yours again.
Got it. Hold on.
Yeah, because I see it on our screen, but I don't know why it's not popping up to the.
Okay, let me share my screen again. It should be fine. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Hey, this is only episode number 4, so I'm allowed to make these mistakes, right?
Oh, I watched some podcasts where it's just a cluster. So this is absolutely nothing compared to some things I see out there.
Yeah, you're rocking and rolling.
All right, cool.
There we go.
So as you know, kind of just going off of Brian's analysis there, once I start seeing a bit more volume, momentum behind Bitcoin, I'm going to start diversifying into altcoin. So right now, I'm not really holding any altcoins. My exposure is pretty low. I'm mostly in Bitcoin. So I want to see more confidence in the market, and then it'll be altcoin season for me. And that's where I'll go from, risk off to more risk on assets. So I'm watching really closely to Ethereum right now. That's a token that I really want to hold in my portfolio. I think it has a lot of long-term fundamental value. But from a technical perspective, there really isn't anything for me to trade. So I've been talking about this dumb zone in Ethereum for quite a while. So I'm not going to over-repeat myself. But essentially, between $125 and $140 seems to be the sideways, the range right now in Ethereum. So for me to be interested as a buyer with new fresh orders in the market, I'm looking for a breakout above 140, and that's going to have to coincide with a breakout in Bitcoin as well, breaking through some of that major upward resistance. So until Ethereum starts to show more, until the bulls really start stepping in and really showing that there's demand in the market, I'm not a buyer until it breaks out at 140, especially since I don't currently hold Ethereum. So that's kind of where I'm seeing things now.
I'm just curious. Where's the 50? Is this a daily? Yeah.
This is daily.
What's the 55 exponent? Can you put in a 55 exponential moving average on there? I'm just kind of curious of where it's at.
Yeah, it's been pretty supported, right, on the 55 since this breakdown here. You had a couple candle wicks below it, but since then it's been been shown as support really since February 25th, so over a month now. Okay,
yeah, I was just kind of curious. I just wanted to see where it was. Yeah, it looks like it's got pretty good support there. I like that.
So I'm going to pull up the EMA 21. So I kind of like to look at the EMA 21 and 55 are kind of nice moving averages that I like to look for in terms of support on the daily time frame. And you can see that Ethereum is making higher lows, right? Right here. So you're seeing that kind of stair-stepping potential of a breakout, but I really think right now the market is really waiting to see what Bitcoin's going to do eventually. It could be Litecoin. Maybe Litecoin's the one that's going to lead it, like you were saying before. But Ethereum is not one of these coins that I've seen in the past that has been a leading indicator. Really, it's been more of a follower. So, but it's definitely a project that I want to have in my portfolio. So I'm just waiting right now for a breakout.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm gonna kind of just jump over to a random one, just because I noticed on Coinbase this Mana. So it's Decentraland.
Love it.
Do you love it?
Yeah, I have a bag of it.
Oh, you're lucky, because I noticed it's up 18% right now.
Yeah, it's one I haven't been following. I bought it way back when. I just like what they're doing.
Okay.
But
so you're one of these people here. Do you see the Decentraland marketplace?
Yeah.
So I just started looking into this, and it's insane. It's really interesting to me how for those of you that aren't familiar with this project, essentially what it is they're selling virtual real estate on this platform, and it's all tracked through the Ethereum blockchain. So as people buy lots and sell lots, or sell real estate, or purchase real estate, it's all recorded on the Ethereum blockchain. So you know exactly who owns it, which addresses own it, how much they purchased it for. It's kind of interesting to me. If this is something that could really take off in the future, especially when you think about gaming and virtual reality, and just how the millennials and Generation Z, how they kind of view tangible assets versus intangible assets. I think they're leaning towards the side of that digital assets are as real as tangible assets, right? And so it's really kind of interesting to see if this virtual real estate platform is going to really take off. Like I just wanted to pull up an example here. Just you can see that someone purchased this lot right here. So you can click on different lots to see what the purchase price is if you wanted to buy it and what the original purchase price was. So somebody bought this lot here for 13,000. Is it Mana? Yeah, Mana.
Yeah.
And it's currently selling for 1.2 million.
Yeah, that's, you can trade real estate in it, and if the price of Mana goes up, then you make money.
Right.
Yep. But I really like it because it's I like the ties with gaming because I'm just I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer forever.
Right.
So I just like the concept that they're doing with it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a very interesting way to use the virtual world.
It's so cool. And so I clicked on this area of the so this is the Mana like virtual reality system. Eventually what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to put on some VR goggles and actually immerse yourself in this world.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, exactly.
And that's what people are doing right now. They're purchasing lots so that they can build, homes, malls, movie theaters, all sorts of stuff in this virtual reality world. And you as a consumer, you're going to be able to go in. So for example, this is like Fashion Street. That's what this is being dubbed at, this project here. And you can purchase, lots within this block, and they're gearing it towards Gucci, Prada, Ralph Lauren, like all high-end brands. And you're going to be able to go into these stores and actually purchase virtual high-end, brands for your own avatar and et cetera. It's kind of interesting.
Yep. So Gucci and Prada will be making money.
Exactly. So
eventually, once it gets all set up.
Right. But in a way,
I just want a little corner cafe. Just a little TA shop so people come in and work charts with me, drink some coffee, relax,
right?
Play some music. I'll find a spot on there eventually. I haven't got enough money to buy the area that I'd want to be in, but I'll get there eventually, right?
If you got in during the auction, holy cow! I mean, these people are doing great in terms of.
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean, look at this. This person 5 months ago bought this lot for 1 Mana, and it's currently selling for $200,000 or 200,000 Mana. I mean,
and what's Mana actually trading at right now in dollars?
Around 6 cents.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's a good chunk of change for some virtual reality.
Yeah.
So, it'll be really interesting to see if this takes off. But anyways, technically, this is a project I wish I would have been tracking. It's good that Brian has. The tokens are obviously looking really strong. Right now it's getting, you're starting to see some overbought on the stochastic, but that's only because of this nearly 20% pump that you're seeing in prices. So obviously there's profit taking going on right now. The EMA 55 and 21 are acting as strong support. So if you're
I can see a drop back down to the bottom of that channel for sure.
What's that?
I can see a drop back down into the bottom of that channel you have drawn there.
Yeah, sure. I would like to see a retest back to like the 61.8 level, so around 5 cents. Confirm, the 21 EMA as support again before the next bullish reactivation. So if you're looking to buy, I would wait, see if we can get a retest on this, bottom part of the channel. And if Mana is something that you really want to own, that's the zone I'd look for.
Cool.
Okay, real quick on Stellar, because this is one that I'm currently in, and I'm disappointed with all the great fundamental news that crypto curator Paul McNeal is talking about with Stellar. We're not really able to capitalize on the fundamental action, unfortunately. So I've drawn out the Elliott waves here. We're currently working our way down in the fourth wave. So I could see, if the 21 EMA doesn't hold the support, you want to see the 55 hold the support right at the 38.2 Fibonacci extension. And if that breaks down, you really want to see the bottom part of this channel hold. So right around just under 10 cents, essentially, is could be a great buy-in opportunity if you currently don't hold any stellar and you're looking to get in and you're waiting for maybe a more optimal price. I'd wait to see if you can get it kind of in this region here before the next bullish reactivation. I do believe that stellar is one of these projects where it hasn't had that crazy run up like Tron or Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash. So with all the great fundamental news out there, the partnership with IBM, and I could see a situation where this could be a coin, as long as Bitcoin is well supported and it takes off like it should on Brian's chart. This could be one of the coins to really get into and really watch closely, because it hasn't had that crazy run up yet. So keep your eye on Stellar. It's my theme. So those are kind of my charts right now as far as where I'm seeing support and resistance. Are there any other coins I should cover, or do we have anything on the live chat? I haven't looked at the live chat recently.
No, we're quiet on there. Crickets.
Okay.
Cricket.
Okay. So I guess the theme right now technically is we're really waiting on kind of Bitcoin, right, to confirm that upper resistance, get out of that 4,140 level, break up to 4,400, and I think you're going to see a lot of these altcoins again reactivate really bullish. So.
Yeah, I mean the patterns right now look a little constructive. They're slightly building. Nothing to get excited about, but at least they're building blocks.
But I talked about
big ones, but
yeah, I talked about this last week, right? I mean, I'm really happy to see where Bitcoin is right now. I mean, I've talked about this 618 level, $3,920, and it has confirmed 3,920 as support really since for 2 weeks now. And a lot of people were getting nervous right here on this candle. Everyone was calling this a pullback. Oh, we're going to be retracing back to 3,600 or lower. Bitcoin found support on the 50% retracement at 3,860. Confirmed that as support and reactivated bullish again. So, we're not in this dumb zone that I had highlighted here for quite a while. And like you said, Brian, it's just stair stepping our way back out of the
and I like that the 55 moving average on that too.
Right.
Actually, do you have an 89?
No, but I can bring it up here real quick.
I'm just kind of curious if I can't remember if we busted above it or not. Yeah, we have. Is that the 89? Oh,
I'm bringing it up right now.
I got excited there for a minute.
There's the 80. The blue here is the 89. So
so that's what I mean. Like, you got some of these moving averages that are moving up toward the 89, and we're above that 89 now.
Right.
And I like the support that those two moving averages are bringing together.
Right.
I don't know. I like it. I mean, without momentum, it should hold, and just kind of continue to build those building blocks to the upside.
The only thing that I see, I mean, this isn't necessarily a red flag, but the stochastic is on the daily is starting to get into the oversold territory, and we haven't really, unfortunately, the prices haven't been a leading indicator in that perspective. But again, that
definitely shows like a stall possibility for sure.
Right, and you kind of see RSI kind of flattening out around 60, but 60 is a bullish zone, right? So, if you're holding Bitcoin like Brian and I, where you bought in kind of at these lower levels here, there's absolutely no reason to panic and sell right now, and as long as Bitcoin confirms, there's a lot of support here with these moving averages, and each one of these is a line of defense for Bitcoin. And, until those start breaking down, I wouldn't sweat it. So,
I mean, really at the end of February, beginning of March, I've been kind of saying the same thing, is cautiously optimistic. I mean, that's really what it is. You just got to kind of take it take it day by day, but be cautious because it is a market that could stall and fall down very easily. But right now, there's no signs of any reason to do that. So that's why you just kind of hold it and watch it.
Yep. And, just looking back on, 2018, which was a roller coaster of a ride. Fibonacci here, let me get rid of this. Again, we've talked about this rounding bottom recovery that Bitcoin's making. And this is as much as frustrating it is from the bulls perspective, because obviously we want to see things kind of, parabolically move up. This is wearing out the bears as well. It's showing, patience in the market, and we're confirming a lot of areas of the chart as support, and it's wearing down the bears. And there isn't a clear, like if I wanted to short this market, because that's one of the, Brian, I'm sure you'd confirm this as well. Like when you're thinking about placing a trade, you want to think about what your enemy is doing, right? So if you're going long, you kind of want to figure out, okay, where on the chart would the bears likely go short, And there really isn't a great opportunity for the bears to short with any kind of confidence until they get near maybe the 200 EMA, which is sitting right around 4,600 now. I mean, that could be a potential zone, right? We may go all the way up to, 5,002 to 6,000 before it really makes sense for the bears to really put on a full-on tack with a lot of risk. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree. And then if that does happen, where it gets to a level where a lot more shorts start to come into the market, it's already going to be at a level that a retracement back will bring these levels that we're currently at even a stronger floor.
Exactly.
So, because right now it is a floor, because it's got some support for moving averages, trend lines, a whole bunch of different things, for buyers to be comfortable getting in on dips. But if it does rally up to that 4,000, 5,000 range, then all of a sudden where we're at today becomes even a stronger floor. And I like that. But I mean, we have to get there first, but I agree. I wouldn't want to short a market right now with the way it's building, because you could get screwed pretty quickly if it gets to that 4,200 and starts taking off.
Right.
So we're at an area that, even though I'm cautiously optimistic, anybody that wants to short the market, like you said, probably going to wait until it gets up to the 200-day moving average before they get comfortable to do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look at the weekly chart, right? We're working on, what is this? We're working on our 6th week of possibly of getting a positive close. And
those are those low building blocks.
Yeah. And 7 out of the last 8 weeks, we've had a positive close. So yeah, I mean, you really can't short the market until it gets further up. So I'd agree. Okay. Well, those are the charts. Do we have anything else that we want to cover?
Prediction time.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think Brian should have to go first since he won last time. We're going to put the pressure on him.
All right. Really, it's not going to be much different this time around. Let me show you.
Is this for Monday, or is this all next week?
I don't know. What do you guys want to do? All next week?
I think so.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I think all next week would probably make sense.
Okay.
Let me pull my chart back up. I'm gonna say the same thing as last time. This triangle that we're in, because right now, if the market went straight down, you're probably sitting at about 38.70 on the downside. So that's where the buying interest would be, and then the upside is going to be the 41.90. I think it stays. I think it stays above the 89 moving average on this one. The 55 is right below it. The 89 moving average right here is right at. I don't have my number on there. All right, I'm going to say it roughly 39.53. I think it can hold above that. So I'm going to actually call. I'll just say 3,900 flat. Make it easy. 3,900 flat. It kind of holds that level. If it does drop, that's where people will buy. And then if they buy it at 3,900, it pops up to 4,190, and we test resistance. I don't think we break out this week. I still think we're going to be in a range bound move. Next.
All right, Paul.
This is tough. Again, I'm going by gut because I'm not a TA guy. So
yeah, but you're an expert in fundamentals, and you know what can move the market.
Looking at the news, yep. I would have to agree that I don't think there's going to be a breakout that's going to happen. I don't know of any news that could possibly break between now and next Friday that could cause us to spike hard in either direction. And based on looking at the charts, I think we can keep teeter-tottering our way for another week or so into that until we get towards the end of that triangle. And then at that point, I think that we possibly could. Now, let me make a disclaimer. Next week, what day is it? Let me back up a second. Hold on. What is next week? So we will potentially have ETF news coming next Friday, because next Friday, Bitwise, the SEC has to make a decision by the 5th. So by the 5th, we could get some news. And
wait, can they extend it again, or
they have to make a decision? Yeah, they can extend it.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
They can get extended again. So that's what I'm saying. I think that the SEC might come out because we still haven't resolved manipulation. We still haven't resolved the custody stuff, regulations either. So I think they might kick the can down the road again. That'll make folks not too excited, not too happy. So that will keep us teetering. So I'm gonna sort of stick with Brian and the fact that we're gonna keep teetering our way to the end of that triangle, and then some news will break us out.
All right.
I know one news item that would break us out.
Yeah.
Vanguard comes out with all their 401k plans with Bitcoin in it. No, I'm just kidding.
You heard that, Vanguard? Do it.
All right. Well, you know what? Since I feel like there's got to be somebody that kind of goes.
Here we go.
It goes against the grain, right?
Somebody's got to.
So I feel like we're working on 6 weeks of positive closes, possibly, right? So, and I'm liking the bullish candle that I'm seeing, the weekly bullish candle currently. So, if we close positive on Sunday, and this is a prediction through our next show, basically. So if we do a Friday show, it'll be till Friday. So I'm going to say that next week could be a potential breakout for us. I'm saying that because we have 3 weeks now where we have positive closes above the 618 Fibonacci extension, which is a critical extension that we've needed to confirm a support. So if we close above 3,920 on Sunday, I really think the market's going to rally, and we're going to start testing some more interesting prices, because I think we're getting to the point now where we're starting to see people are getting impatient. People are going to want to see a bit more activity, and I think there's more confidence in the market. So I'm going to say that we're going to hit by Friday. We're going to be testing between 4,140 and 4,415. Those are the 78.6 and 100% extension. That's my prediction.
So what day do you think it's going to break 4,200? What day? Put you on the spot.
I'm going to say give it about midweek. I think Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
Tuesday or Wednesday. So about on hump day. We're gonna.
Okay, so we'll say Wednesday. What hour? It's gonna happen. No, I'm just messing with you.
We're going Central Eastern time.
Yeah, at 4 p.m. Is that Eastern Standard Time?
It is. Yep.
A nice midweek bump, and then test of those areas. I get what you're saying.
I'm
rooting for you.
I think we're due for it. So I think the market is.
No, but what you said made sense, because you get above that resistance level it was a support resistance flip of that 61.8 level that you said. Yep. And we've had 3 consecutive, if it closes above there this Sunday, we've had 3 of them. That's a nice confirmation. I agree with that. It'd be good.
I think so. So I'm going to go on the limb and say that. So.
All right, cool.
Sweet.
All right, well, everyone, those are our predictions. We went through the support and resistance, through the fundamental news, technical news, charts. And again, hit the like and subscribe. Always comment below if there's other projects and coins you'd like us to talk about. And also follow us on Twitter. We put out a lot of material out there on a daily basis. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
All right, peace out.
Thanks.
Bye.